Well, hi everyone. It's great to communicate with you again and to encourage you during this rather unusual time that we're living in. And just wanted to share some things with you concerning the new normal and the sense in which we're all facing the pathway back. And as restrictions come off, what does that mean for us as a church? What does that mean for us as pastors, as leaders, both personally and for us in our teams together? So let me just share a few thoughts with you, and I've added to this video as well an article or a letter from me with a number of articles in it and places that you can look to explore the issues that I think we're all now confronting more specifically. So the challenge now is to actually, what does the future look like? What does church look like? How do we move beyond where we now are? And use the opportunity that God has created through this tragedy. The pandemic is obviously in many countries causing absolute devastation. We can be so grateful that here in Australia that's not the case. But nonetheless, there's heartache everywhere. Even in our own nation, many people have lost their work, unemployed, the future's insecure. There's a lot of opportunity for the gospel to come into more direct meaning in people's lives. So let me share a few things with you. One thing's for sure, the same old, doing church the way we used to do it is not going to work for the future. God uses all things for good, it says in Romans 8:28. I don't know that he's necessarily orchestrating the events of a pandemic like this, but he's using it now to make things better for us, for the church, and to cause us to think more missionally, to think more creatively, to refocus our effort and our attention to do things as a church. The challenge is to connect to people. And that, of course, is getting way harder now. And we can connect to people, but bringing them into the life of the church is going to be the next challenge. And in fact, I would suggest that many of our churches will find it not easy to go back to the way things were, in the context that a lot of people have found that it's very easy to just pick up your phone, listen, watch, and that's church. Well, it's not really church, but that's going to be the challenge. How we bring people from just observing church to actually being part of the community of church. And so I think that deserves a lot of attention for us as pastors. And I've given a few articles that will help you to look at that and discuss that with your teams more effectively. Churches are going to find that they're going to be making a lot more of their content for Sundays midweek. The sort of live streaming that we've done has given the opportunity for there to be some really creative endeavours in how we present things like the offering or testimonies or items in song. And those things, I think, will continue to be part of what we do as a church as we try to do things differently. So, church may not look necessarily the way it did before COVID-19, before this pandemic. We'll be doing things differently. We'll be looking at different opportunities, ways of doing church that may involve a lot more streaming of things within the context of the service and uploading things midweek, clips, etc. And in the process, it may give us the opportunity to make church on Sundays a lot more interactive. So think about that, reflect upon it. Don't just do the same old and presume you'll just go back the way it was. You may not find that everybody comes back to church, and we're going to have to work harder at actually building the connections and make the effort of coming to church worthwhile. It's been so easy just picking up the phone, sitting in your pajamas or lay back in the lounge room and watch church. But that's not what we want. We want people back together, and that's going to take a lot more creative endeavour on all of our parts. The reality is some churches are just not going to make it. If you just muddled through before this pandemic, well, guess what? Muddling through is not going to cut it after the pandemic. The problems have just got worse. So we need to look at the way we do church. The methods might change, but the message remains the same. So we constant in what we present, the gospel of Jesus Christ, but we need to think very creatively about the way we do church. I think of that great passage of Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 19 to 23, where he says, I've become all things to all men. I look at the way I do church, the way I think about church, so that I might save a few. And that's the way we need to go as well. So use this chance to address change with your churches. Use this chance to look at with your staff at the way you do things. Look at the roles that you fulfill. Nicky Gumbel, in an article that I've included in the letter that accompanies this video, talks about the way he's rethinking church, and we need to all do that as well. I've also added a few articles just to help you with your own personal poise and the way that you think mentally, socially, spiritually. Use this time where the normal routines have changed for you to actually be more attentive and to think about Holy Spirit and what He's saying to you, and to change and build yourself up in your spiritual self. So use this chance. Guys, it's a privilege for me to be able to support you. I'll try to ring as many of you as I can. Feel free to contact me. And it's been a great joy to actually join many of our churches through both live streams on Sundays and also through some doing Zoom connections with their people. So if you would like me to be part of your church services, I can, and I'm happy to do that through technology, but also through coming as we hopefully open things up a bit more, that I can come into your churches and be with you. So if you want me, make sure you contact me over the next weeks so that I can schedule the next months ahead to be with many of you. Give me a ring, share with each other, encourage each other, and let's build each other up in our holy faith. This is a great opportunity for the church, as I say and have said so many times. The best is yet to come. God bless you all. Good to be with you.